Hello there. In case you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly go ahead and do so.
Let us speak being honest and factual. The facts are the people of Palestine are denied the right to exist as human beings. They're denied the right to enjoy the freedoms and the rights we so love as South Africans. The collective punishment that Israel is exacting on all Palestinian people is an affront that has gone on for too long. The murder of children, of women, and the aged by Israel is an act that should have resulted in the International Criminal Court issuing an immediate arrest warrant for key decision makers, including Mr. Netanyahu, who is responsible for violations of international criminal law.
Now, South Africa was probably the first African country to get independence from Britain in 1910. And immediately they got the independence from the British. As the British left, a minority white people in South Africa, or the settlers there called the Boers, hijacked that independence because they had guns. They were working with the British. They were working for the British as administrators and police officers. So they took power in that country and formed an apartheid white government in South Africa. And this apartheid government sought to isolate and segregate the black natives and take away their land and rights in South Africa. And that is what happened. So South Africa feels what the Palestinians are going through. Every time Israel attacks Palestinians, every time Israel grabs more land in Palestine, South Africa feels it and understands it. And that's why South Africa today is asking the International Criminal Court, the ICC, to issue an arrest warrant on Benjamin Netanyahu and the Minister of Defense in Israel. And the argument is that since the ICC was quick to issue a similar arrest warrant on the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, for allegedly abducting children from East Ukraine, the Donbass, they should do the same to Benjamin Netanyahu, who is openly bragging on how he's killing Palestinian children. Every day, Israeli jets are bombing civilian buildings and hospitals and killing innocent babies in Palestine. So that is what South Africa wants. But the hypocritical West cannot allow that to happen because they use the ICC as a political court, so they are not going to use it against one of their own, Benjamin Netanyahu. Very recently, the French president was being interviewed on BBC, and that is the next video I'm going to show you. And he was asked whether Israel is breaking international law, to which he agreed. But when put to task on whether the International Criminal Court should investigate Benjamin Netanyahu, he changes his voice. He stutters as if he's scared someone is going to come after him. Now, I don't know whether Western leaders are being hypocritical or they're scared of Israel, but I think they are more hypocritical than being scared.
We clearly condemn this terrorist attack and this terrorist group and recognize the right of Israel to protect itself and react. But day one, we say that this reaction and the fight against terrorism, because it is led by a democracy, should be compliant with international rules, rule of war and humanitarian international law. And day after day, what we saw is a permanent bombing of civilians in Gaza. And I think it's very important to say the whole story, but I think this is the only solution we have, this ceasefire, because it's impossible to explain we want to fight against terrorism by killing innocent people.
You've talked about the fight against terrorism needing to be merciless, is the word you used, but not without rules. And you've just referred there to the high loss of civilian life in Gaza. Do you think Israel is respecting those rules, the international rules that you're referring to?
Look, in the very first days, it's clear that the emotion, the compassion, created a situation where everybody was just close to Israel and backing them and sharing the pain. And we do share their pain, and we do share the willingness to get rid of terrorism. We know what terrorism means in France. But I think there is no justification precisely to attack civilians.
What I would like just to clarify with you, are you saying that Israel is guilty of breaking international humanitarian law, potential war crimes?
No, I'm here, look, I think it's not the proper way to approach the question. We do recognize the right to protect themselves. And 1 month after this terrorist attack, I think it would be not the right way to deal with a partner and friend just to say you will be condemned and you are guilty. De facto, today, civilians are bombed. De facto, these babies, these ladies, these old people are bombed and killed. There is no reason for that and no legitimacy. So we do urge Israel to stop. I'm not here to, I'm not a judge. I'm a head of state. I just remind everybody international law. I call for a ceasefire, and I will urge them for a ceasefire, for a humanitarian ceasefire.